This is mostly a critique video, and this is mostly just me just wanting to actually help with a lot of different things, because rather than just sitting in silence and just kind of molding about it or just having some crash outs on now and then or whatever, I want to talk about the terrors of nowhere and the community itself. But I'm gonna start with the community to make things flow better, and I'll speak a little bit more slowly just in case for anybody who cannot understand how fast I'm talking. But um let's begin though. First I want to talk about the community, and first I want to address the moderators. And the simple thing I have to say is do better. Recently, over depending on when this video is uploaded, the way you guys handle moderation within the server is very poor. It's extremely poor, and it's kind of embarrassing to know that the professionalism is not there. And either trying to I can't even see you're trying to quell situations well enough, because usually if there is a situation that requires moderation, doing it in private instead of just putting gas onto the fire is not going to help anything. So like if something breaks out within Discord or whatnot or whatever, it's better to handle that stuff privately instead of in public, because then now you have other people joining in, and then the situation doesn't even get solved, and you guys don't really mediate it well enough to a point where everyone is like happy, or just like the situation is dealt with properly, and the maturity there is non-existent. um in situations when it comes to me talking about something like this or whatever, if you feel like I hurt your feelings in some way of like addressing this issue, maybe you should probably do a little bit of self-reflecting. That's all I'm gonna say for the most part or whatever. Just do better and everything of sort. And if you feel the need that you want to ban me or whatever else, I literally don't give a shit, honestly, in my opinion. um but for the community portion though, in most regard, I think the community is pretty great in a lot of things that they do when they commit to the things that Beyond creates, mostly for Terrors of Nowhere and sometimes Bust to Nowhere, but those two go hand in hand. And I feel that some people feel like they can't speak their mind also because of moderation and such. They feel like they will get shut down, or feel like some judgment will be smited upon them if they speak out against having any sort of criticisms or problems with anything that Beyond's create. Like, I think there's a lot of more positive toxicity than anything, because like we can't criticize a game because it's free or something. But I think everything has the right to be criticized, especially when, and I don't want to be that guy to bring something up, but if people are spending a decent amount of money into Patreon for this that game, I would say that yeah, if there's being a decent amount of money being made from this game, I would want it to be upkept, and I would address these problems as they should so the game can run properly. So any criticisms that I have here, if you feel like I said anything wrong, you can feel free to comment if you like or dislike anything I said. And if you have your own problems, you can go into conversation and speak your mind or whatever. This video is to get out to everyone beyond themselves, the moderators, the community, or whatever. And it's for people to just voice their opinions and problems and whatever. And then I can probably get something done for everyone, so everybody is happy and everyone is content. But all in all, let's get into the meat of potatoes of the video. We're gonna talk about the game mostly of Terrors of Nowhere. I'm not gonna talk about Bust to Nowhere all too much, because it is not something I'm too well versed in. But frankly, I feel that Terrors of Nowhere is in a poor spot right now. It's mostly in a poor spot because there has no actual fixes of the game. Sorry if I keep stuttering because I have no script here. Um, there's no actual fixes for the game, and The last major bug fix and stuff that we got was in February when they fixed Distorted Yawn and all the other stuff. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go into Torrent server and go to the announcements channel and scroll up and you'll see what I'm talking about. But that was the biggest major patch of bugs and glitches and stuff that got removed, thank God or whatever, and I'm grateful for it. But that was the last one. It's already about to be July as I am recording this video because it is the 29th. And I might upload it on the same day, but this is going to be really quick. But that is crazy to me. And I get that there's some Patreon stuff happening or whatever. I'm not going to talk about it because, like, I won't be addressing that information and such, whatever, because, you know, it's Patreon related. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, you can support that Patreon, but I would advise against it. Not because out of malice or being petty or whatever. It's just because we just need to actually get fixes done, and just putting money into something that is not being upkept is really bad. And I'm pretty sure everybody is aware of the amount of bugs and problems that the game currently has that hinders the gameplay. And it's mostly due to the fact that there's so much in the game that Beyond himself added that ended up makes it really hard to pinpoint where key issues lies, because the more stuff that you add into a game, the more stuff you got to pay attention to, and the more stuff that you probably have to figure out what is probably breaking. And when there's a lot of stuff in the game like that or whatever, I can understand how it can be stressful, and you do need your break every now and then. I can completely understand it. People get burnt out working on stuff, and I would not want someone to overwork because something is not to my liking. But at the end of the day, Beyond, you were the one who decided to add all of this stuff into the game, and majority of it is pretty lackluster in some regards. There's a lot of items that don't really do anything. In the current meta, it's just Emerald Coil, and if you feel like I'm wrong about saying Emerald Coil is meta, you can address that in the comment section too if you feel like it, even though that I'm going to say this right now, your opinion is wrong, because Emerald Coil is literally the best item in the game and is the solution to majority of things in the game, and that is a issue. When the game has the meta of just speed, and almost any other item is kind of obsolete, and it makes the gameplay feel monotonous and boring. And you will say, well, there's nothing stopping you from not using Emerald Coil, and you're completely right about that. But at the end of the day, why would I run a stun item? Why would I run a med kit? Why would I run a RNG item like the slot machines if I know it's going to get me killed most often and probably have me sitting in the lobby 90% of the time while I watch everybody else play on the screen? So when you have Snowy Coil, Delicate Coil, and Emerald Coils mostly plaguing the game, there's only one way to play: speed, because outspeeding most things kind of helps, and it'll let you win more matches and allows you to stay alive way more, rather than bringing a stun item where you would just get punished for stunning the terror and then immediately dying right after. So now you're just watching all your friends play the game because you decided to bring a dinky ass fucking stupid glowing sword. Cough cough Illumina, that shit is ass. But in any regard, there's a lot of items that don't really do anything and that's not really helpful, and they deserve actual reworks. Let me preface this: actual reworks, not some stupid rework where it's going to get used in some off chance or whatever. Just ways to make the gameplay feel more enhanced and better in terms of the item portion and everything. And I want to talk about when the Joyous update came out. When the new terrorists got added, there's a decent amount of them that got added, but only some of them actually felt like they brought something to the table, and they felt kind of new and fresh in some regards. And in most cases, in some of those terrorists that did get added, a decent amount of them didn't really bring anything from the table from the original roster. And I want to say that some of them are kind of and then some of them are kind of really good, and, you know, in terms of stuff or whatever. I just feel like a lot of them kind of need reworks or just some way of just elevating their gameplay or never being added at all, because I feel that would have been significantly better than adding a bunch of nothing burger. Because, you know, like, who am I to just be like, oh yes, I love having a lot of more nothing in my game. I mean, it's not my game, but it's his game, and he can do whatever he wants with it. That is completely fine. Or she. I'm not sure what Beyond is. I'm not really sure your gender. I'm not sure. But you got things like retap. I think it was kind of okay, but then it gets annoying after a while when you get retap majority of the time. Or something like fucking Origin, and it's just kind of like they just run at you, right? You know, they don't really do anything. So now you got a lot of extra terrors that kind of really don't really elevate the gameplay or do anything different. So the round kind of gets a little bit boring in their regard because you're not really doing all too much. But that's mostly just a personal thing, okay? So if you feel like you want to disagree and you actually like those two terrors, good for you. But we do feel like that the rates for special rounds are kind of ass. And then having the unbound rounds are also just as bad, because spamming triple Akumakari or triple fucking Carol Corpse or triple Cygnus or triple that, and it's just spamming the same teller over and over again does not make it interesting. Besides like triple mope, it's just like it does not make the game all too interesting when that's majority of the unbound rounds. And I feel like there was not really too much creativity. If you felt like it was really hard to make any other unbound round types, then you could have consulted the community on it. Like, they have tons of ideas. They will think of something really quickly, and they will probably enjoy it, instead of just adding something with no fucking flavor to it, like, at all. It did not do anything for us. Like, do we actually like triple Kumakari? No, we don't. Do we like triple Cygnus? No, we don't, because it's just really boring. It's just, you know, 3 times the boring, you know. But that's just unbound rounds as a type of weapon. I'm pretty sure people don't like sabotage rounds either. They're not as good. And if you do like sabotage rounds, like I said before, good for you. But sabotage rounds are bad for a lot of different reasons, and they just, people don't really like to engage with it all too much. I feel like a lot of people are just like kind of get sick of it when it takes over a lot of rounds or whatever, and it's just not enjoyable as people would think after a long period of time. And then we get on to the tons of bugs and glitches that plague the game. And I want to say that there's one half of the community that gets their wins because of bugs and glitches, and there's another half that gets fucked over because of bugs and glitches. Like, one person can win like joy because it broke and didn't target them, and then other people will just get sleepwalking joy and just immediately die on the spot and have to survive for longer periods of time because she's not supposed to be moving while she's sleeping, and kind of just kills people for whatever reason. That's not really fair when a lot of terrors kind of break, like, in a good way for some people, and sometimes they break in a bad way for others. And that fairness needs to be, like, you know, that gap needs to not be there no more. That the fixes just need to happen. And we can blame VR chat for their updates all the time, but if the person who has the game is not updating just as much, or like, you know, at least like every month at the very least, then yeah, we're gonna have a problem, because the longer we go without updates and the more VR chat updates themselves, we can't really blame VR chat for the game breaking when the person who's supposed to be taking care of it is not taking care of it. And we need, you know, updates to actually make the game function properly for everyone and not messing up on occasion and getting people script killed and all this other stuff. And that's another thing I wanted to address. Cheaters are looked down upon, and usually they do not stay in lobbies that are mostly populated because people will recognize that they're cheating and then they will be kicked. And having the anti-cheat now ruins a lot of people's games because of the FPS dropping to 0, causing people to die, and other things. It does not feel fair to people with low-end PCs such as myself, but you'll be like, oh, you should just get a stronger PC or whatever. I have a gaming laptop, okay? Terrorist is unoptimized. We all know this. It's very obvious, and I will not sugarcoat it. It is a heaping pile of unoptimized. Yeah, you thought I was going to see the other thing. And I think if there were some optimizations, there were some bug fixes, everything, I'm pretty sure everybody would be a lot more happier, because then now they're playing a game that is functioning way more often than not and not breaking on them and causing them to lose a ton of progress. That is good. And that is what I'm striving to aim for, is the fact that the game just needs to keep getting fixes, especially if VR chat is going to keep pushing out updates and everything of sorts, because the more they push out updates, the more the game becomes more broken and the more work that Beyond has to do. And if you feel like, and I'm talking to Beyond on this one, if you feel like there is so much workload, you should probably get more people on the team with you to help you lessen that workload, so you feel less stressed out, so you don't have to feel like you're burdened with having to upkeep this game while you're trying to work on other projects or whatever. Usually a small team will do wonders, and if you let that happen, I guarantee you people will be way happier, you will be way happier, and everything will become better. I guarantee it. But you would just need to go through with it and do it yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. The community is just waiting. And I do have tons of bugs and glitches written down, but I'm not even going to address all that in this video, because at the same time, that can have a whole video of its own, which is so funny to me. But the game just needs to work. And like I said, I'm going to talk to Beyond on this one. Like right now in this video, I'm going to talk to you personally. We love your creations. We appreciate you. I'm pretty sure the community appreciates you. There's tons of models of your characters being made. There's fan art. There's all types of stuff in support poured into you and poured into your worlds. Mostly Terrors of Nowhere and Bust of Nowhere. And we just ask for you to fix it for us. That's all. Especially when a decent amount of these people are putting money and time into your creations and just begging and hoping and pleading and feeling like they're not being heard and feeling like that you ignored them, or like they get shut down by your moderators because they feel afraid that they're not able to actually voice their opinion, so they just gotta wait in silence or whatever. And it's kind of obvious to me on occasion that people will tell me that Beyond wouldn't listen, or Beyond wouldn't see this and see that or whatever. You just gotta get lucky that he actually is able to see it and actually, do something about it. And like, I feel like as a developer, if people have this notion about you, I'm going to be real, one-on-one. You are a bad developer in that regard, that you do not want to listen to people who are vocal about their issues and you just shrug it off. That is not a great developer, in my opinion, or whatever. In this regard, into your community, you are not a great developer. You might be a great developer in making this game and stuff like that, but interacting with your community is one of the key things that you need to do. And the way your moderators act and the way you act kind of reflects in a very negative light. And I am kind of ashamed to say this out of my mouth currently. And if you feel like I'm being toxic or being rude, that is fine, but I think you just needed to hear it. But that's all that I have to say at the current moment. I hit the 20-minute mark, and I don't want to yap anymore, but for the most part, just moderators do better, Beyond do better, community do a little bit better because you guys act very immaturely, like all of you, and just fix the game. That's just all I ask. Just fix the game and just put a little bit more love and support into it, and I guarantee you people will love it more, people will love you more, whatever, and probably people will even probably sub back to their subscriptions, maybe a little bit more too as well. Just try listening for once to your community, and I guarantee you it might work wonders, and I feel like everyone will just be a little bit happier. But I love you all. Don't know who you are, but still love you. Peace out. I'ma go get me some food.